Hello and welcome to another video with me, Christian Rauchenwald. Now in today's video I'm going to show you the probably best passive income opportunity when it comes to cryptocurrencies that I've seen in a very long time, and the project I'm talking about is called Helium. Helium aims to provide hotspots all over the world that provide a long-range, low-bandwidth network for IoT devices. Now, I'm quite sure that you've already heard the phrase IoT, but maybe you don't know what it is. IoT stands for Internet of Things, so devices that are in some way connected to the internet. That could be, for example, your smart refrigerator, your smart light bulbs, your smart vacuum cleaner, or a ton of other things like, for example, a tracking sensor that you can put on a car or anything else, or I don't know, like a door opening sensor and so on. So basically, small or big devices that in some way have additional features and are usually then called smart devices make up the Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things, or Internet of Things in general, is something that's growing very fast because more and more devices become smart devices and have their own apps and some way how you may be using them with, for example, Apple HomeKit or another way to control those devices. Now, obviously, when it comes to smart devices in your own apartment, connectivity is usually not a problem because either those devices communicate via Bluetooth, like for example, some Philips light bulbs that we have, they have a so-called Philips Bridge device, which is connected to either their network wire or Wi-Fi, and then that device allows the light bulbs to connect to it, and therefore I can control those light bulbs on my phone or by talking to Siri. And the same applies to most other smart devices or Internet of Things devices that you could have at home. They either use your existing Wi-Fi network or communicate via Bluetooth. In any case, the range that they can use based on Wi-Fi is usually more than sufficient for you to place them wherever you want in your apartment or house. However, how about you have some remote property, maybe you own a storage unit and you also want to have some motion detection sensor or some sensor that tracks when the door to the storage unit gets opened installed there. And maybe there is no Wi-Fi available that you can use for that device. And that would pretty much be one of the things where Helium's long-range, low-bandwidth network comes into play. As the name suggests, it's about long range. So if you have a Helium hotspot and you are living outside of the city, so in a more rural area, your hotspot may potentially cover a couple of miles of radius around your house or apartment. And if you live within a city, your hotspot may still easily cover 1 mile around your building, depending on how you mount it, how high the buildings around you are, and so on. So you see, compared to, for example, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, the Helium LongFi actually has a much wider range. But as mentioned, it's about low bandwidth. So it's not designed to provide internet to another laptop 3 miles away that then could stream, I don't know, the latest 4K movie or something. It's meant for smart devices that usually only transmit small amounts of data. Now that we've covered what Helium is all about and what's its use case, the question remains, how can that become a passive income stream for you? And the answer is quite simple. Helium relies on people like you and me to install Helium hotspots to provide that kind of coverage. So that could be you, for example, getting a Helium hotspot and placing it next to your window so that it basically covers parts of your neighborhood. Or if you own a house or have access to the roof of your building, you could buy one and then either place the antenna for the hotspot on the roof of the building, or you could buy an outdoor miner and place that on the roof of your building. And for that, you start earning HNT. And with Helium, there are a couple of different ways how you then actually earn HNT. One of the things is called proof of coverage. So instead of proof of work like Bitcoin does it, and where you have to use a lot of computing power to prove or solve a block and then earn the coins, with Helium, it's about covering a specific area. So it depends on how many hotspots are in your neighborhood. And when I say the word neighborhood, I don't mean your next door neighbors, because as mentioned, the range of Helium hotspots, depending on how you place your antenna and so on, is potentially up to a couple of miles. So if you have other Helium hotspots within that range, so that your hotspot is able to reach and communicate with the other hotspot, it proves that your hotspot and the other hotspot provide coverage and you will start to earn more. In addition to that, obviously, when there are Internet of Things devices that use your hotspot to transmit data, you also start to earn more. And then there are a few other things like issuing challenges and so on, but all of that doesn't really matter for the purpose of this video. The big question is, how much can you actually earn? And the answer to that, as you may have already figured out from my previous statements, is that it depends on a few things, but you can visit the Helium Explorer, and I'm going to share that screen with you real quick, where you can see a list of all the hotspots that are currently online. So we see currently there are 18,338 hotspots active, and you can zoom in and look at how much they exactly earned during the last 24 hours, the last week, or the last month. Now, if we go to Ukraine, you can see that there are currently no hotspot, and the hotspot that I ordered will likely be the first within Kiev to be installed and will not have any other hotspots around. But if we zoom in, for example, in, let's say, Austria, where there are still not that many hotspots, and we're gonna start off by picking a single hotspot that doesn't have neighbors, so you see kind of like the worst case scenario. And go here, gonna click on it. And when we click on the dot, we see that there is one hotspot, we see its name, and we can click on it again, it zooms in, and we can click on View Hotspot Details, which will open the hotspot in a new window. And on that Helium Miner detail page, the only thing you have to look at is if that hotspot is fully synced. Now this one is fully synced, so we can scroll down and we see that during the last 30 days, it earns 7.6 HNT. And we can go to CoinMarketCap to check the current Helium value to see how much that would be in US dollars. So currently Helium trades at $4.41 or $4.43 per coin. So we can just multiply the 7.06 times 4.4 and we arrive at roughly $30. So that hotspot, just for having it in place, earned the user roughly $30 in HNT. And again, that's a lone hotspot without a connection to any neighboring hotspots. Now we're gonna stay in Austria, and I'm just gonna click on one of the hotspots here in that group. And we can see that we now picked one that has a connection to two other hotspots available. And when we scroll down here, we can see that this hotspot earned 10 times as much as the lone hotspot and made 71 HNT, so $300 in HNT coins during the last 30 days. And again, all the owner of that hotspot had to do to start making that kind of passive income is order a Helium hotspot and place it next to their window, or maybe if possible place the antenna on the roof or the outside of the building to increase the range of the hotspot and therefore reach more other hotspots and improve or increase the earnings. Now, I already spent some time looking at some of the hotspots that you can find on the Helium Explorer map. And the worst case scenario that I found so far was a hotspot that earned around 2 point something HNT during the last 30 days, which means made roughly $8 during last month. And the best hotspot that I found made more than $2,500 within a month, and it was placed in Paris. And I obviously cannot guarantee you that you will earn hundreds or thousands of dollars per month with your HNT Helium hotspot, but as you can see, in the worst case, you still make a couple of dollars. So the big question is, how much does it actually cost to get and run a Helium HNT hotspot, and can you build one yourself? And here I want to start with the bad news. Yes, you could build a Helium hotspot yourself, but the do-it-yourself hotspots cannot mine the coins. So you could provide the Helium network coverage, but you wouldn't get anything in return. So it doesn't make that much sense. And since you're not able to build a hotspot yourself, you're basically left with two options. Option number one is you order one of the hotspots from one of the authorized resellers or manufacturers, like the one that I ordered. I'm going to show it here, which cost roughly $350 to $400. Although they are pretty much nothing else but a Raspberry Pi with some extra board and antennas and the key to be allowed to mine the coins. However, even that $300 to $400 price tag, if you consider shipping fees and potential taxes or custom fees that you might have to pay, still are worth it in my opinion, because that hotspot can run for the next couple of years and earn you passive income. If you are lucky and there are already other hotspots in your neighborhood, which you can check using the Helium Explorer map, and you can find a link to that in the description down below, you may already earn more than $20, $50, $100 per month, and it only takes you 3 months or less to get the money back that you paid for the hotspot. If you're unlucky, you'll end up making $10 or maybe less per month, and it will take you 3 years to get your money back. But eventually you will start making profit with that helium miner, assuming that the project doesn't die along the way, which is very unlikely considering the kind of coverage that they already have and the use cases that the project provides. And I understand that not each and everyone has $400 or $300 available to spend, because I'm aware that many of you watching this video are from countries where people don't earn $400 in a month, and I also have a solution for you. If you don't have $300 to $400 to buy your own hotspot, or maybe you're not convinced if you should really order one and you want to give it a try first, there's a company out there called Emrit, which produces something called CoolSpots. Now, from what I can tell, the CoolSpots are pretty much the same miner that I bought, just with a different case, so branded in the CoolSpot look. But we all know there is no such thing as a free lunch, so there has to be a catch to it. And the catch is, while you get the hotspot for free, so you don't have to pay the $300 to $400 to get your own Helium hotspot and start making passive income, you literally have to pay $0, you will not earn the full amount. Emrit keeps 80% of the earnings, so you will get a free hotspot, and all you'll have to do is place it next to a window and set it up with the Helium app. Now again, if you don't have the $300 to $400 that it takes to pay for your own Helium hotspot, or you don't believe yet that it really will be profitable, taking the offer of Emrit and getting one of their CoolSpots for free is still better than not having a hotspot at all, because 20% of something is way more than 100% of zero. Last but not least, you may worry that the hotspot will use a lot of your electricity and not be profitable if you just earn $10 per month. But since the Helium hotspot is built based on a Raspberry Pi, it only uses 5 watts of electricity. So if I were to run one here in Ukraine for a whole year, it would cost us less than $2 in electricity. And I'm more than confident that we will earn more than $2 worth of H&T per year, making it a really profitable scenario. So even if you get the free hotspot from Emrit, and you can find a link to get those in the description down below or the first pinned comment as well, the profits that you make from running the hotspot and getting H&T coins every month, even though you might only get 20% of what the hotspot mines or receives, are still way more than what you might pay in electricity for running a 5 watts Raspberry Pi 24/7. The only real downside that there is when it comes to running Helium hotspot is that because of the demand, the delivery times are currently very long. I ordered my hotspot already a month ago, and I will still have to wait another month or 2 until I finally receive it. And originally I planned to record the Helium video only once I have my hotspot, and I can also show you actual earnings to provide proof that it's worth to spend the money. But since there is now a way to get the hotspot for free, although you only get 20% of the earnings, it makes it a zero risk scenario. So even if you're not fully convinced, even if you don't trust me 100% with what I'm saying here, you can do your own research and you can just order your free hotspot and see for yourself how much H&T and therefore how much money you can make by just running a hotspot in your apartment. And you should definitely not overthink the decision, and if you have doubts, go with the free option. Again, you can find the link to that in the description in the first pinned comment down below, because there's one crucial limitation. Helium hotspots should be at least 300 meters apart from each other. So if somebody else in your building or your next door neighbor already acts faster than you and gets a hotspot, you may be left behind. Now that's it for today about Helium. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, or join our Discord community. There we also have a dedicated channel about the Helium project. And once I receive my Helium miner and set it up, I will definitely follow up with more videos about Helium, how much you can earn, how to set up your miner, and so on. Thanks for watching. See you in one of my other videos. Till then, bye bye.